This is the Business Experience Show, where we connect those who want to know more about digital marketing, social media, and business strategy with entrepreneurs who are succeeding in today's marketplace. Follow our blog, join our online network, or connect with us at thebusinessexperienceshow.com. And now, your host, Lisa Caprelli.
Welcome to the Business Experience Show, and in studio with us is show producer Brian Gaps. We have a veteran attorney with us today, 20 years, Mr. John Messina, counsel and partner of the firm Litton, Williams, Messina, and Hankin. John handles complex litigation cases with hands-on experience as a broker, real estate developer, and mortgage banker. Welcome, John.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
So John, tell us how you got involved in the career path of an attorney.
Well, it was not a typical path. I was started out in the real estate arena. I bought real estate, sold it, developed it, and financed it. Had a mortgage banking company. Was successful at a young age, and I handled the operations of the business, and my partner handled the accounting. I found out I should have been spending a little more time with the accounting.
What happened there?
Well, I found out that he had embezzled the company.
Oh, my God.
And so I had an opportunity to change careers. Luckily, I had taken the law school admission test about a year or so before I found out, with the idea that I was going to go to law school at night and use that education in my career in the mortgage banking arena.
So you were doing yourself a favor without even knowing it,
True.
And getting advice and help on what the direction you can take.
Well, that's what I was trying to do, and it was just I wanted to expand my education in the arena in the real estate arena. There were so many areas of real estate that I had to, when I advised clients and had customers, I had to stop because I wasn't a lawyer. And I wanted that education, and I wanted the credential, again, more to enhance my business in the real estate and mortgage banking arena. We were growing the company, and it was, we thought at one point we'd even take it public. When we found out about the embezzlement, I actually left the company to pursue a lawsuit against them, and at the same time, at some point in time, I decided to start attending law school. And
so as you are attending law school, you're fighting your own case.
I am. I had a lawyer, and I was in the law school I was attending was at Southwestern Scale Program, which was the only 2-year immersion program in the United States for an ABA accredited school. So it was very, very intense. And during that time, I had
hands-on experience.
Hands-on experience and unexpected learning experience.
So your attorney must have been happy because, like, you became his partner.
Not really.
Oh, tell us how that went.
No. Well, I learned one of the things that the gamesmanship of civil litigation. One of the things that the ex-partner had done was to try to have my attorney disqualified, knowing that would be demoralizing to me and also very expensive for me to keep him in the case. So unbelievably, he made a claim, and it took months for this to all come out through in-camera proceedings with the judge.
Wow.
Meaning that he had to sit privately with the judge, and he actually said that at one point in time prior to when we were still partners, that he had disclosed to my counsel that he had embezzled money from me, and that so that there was an attorney-client relationship established, and therefore he wouldn't be able to represent me.
Wow.
That turned out to be completely false, and we prevailed, but tens of thousands of dollars later. So as far as the strategy, it was effective. And then when his attorney was discredited in front of the judge because of this tactic, he fired the attorney and got a new one. So it was the gamesmanship that went along. I remember asking a law school professor, I said, how do you get justice in the courts?
Right.
And he says,
that's a really good question. I have so many people. Is there fairness? Is there justice? What do you say to that?
There's justice when the truth comes out. The system is set up for honest people or the truth. And when you're not honest, you have to dig for the truth and get it. But that's what we ended up having to do.
And it's amazing that situation did not discourage you. What did it do? Did it motivate you to continue?
Well, one of the things it did is made me want to swear off civil litigation. I wanted to do anything but civil litigation, which is what I do today. And
you do complex litigation cases.
Yes.
Really complex.
I figured out it was a game, and then I figured out it was fun to get good at it.
What shaped you, John, into the kind of attorney you are today?
Well, I'd say there's probably I would say three things, and it probably starts just basically with my upbringing with, well-grounded in principles and values that I was raised with. I've carried that in everything I've done. I have extensive background and experience in real estate. Like I said, I bought it, sold it, financed it, developed it, residential properties, tract homes, commercial, standalone project complexes, industrial. So I know the business of real estate, not just from a legal perspective, but hands-on, boots on the ground, knowing the business, and that has really helped in the type of how I handle my clients and my cases, because I act not only as an attorney, but I can go back into the real world experiences that I've had. The other thing is, when I graduated law school, firms were laying attorneys off. They weren't hiring them. And I had experience, and I was a little older. So I knew that if I was going to come up and be a worthy attorney, somebody not just a mediocre attorney, but a top litigation attorney, I was going to have to jump in and handle hard, tough cases and get out of a comfort zone and have to stay out of that comfort zone for a long time. So that's what I did. So I decided to shape myself by taking on very difficult cases against, and that usually meant clients without a lot of money, against opponents who had the money to hire big firms in Los Angeles, Orange County, San Diego.
And it sounds like you really get behind the people you represent, almost like if you partner with them. As I've gotten to know you, it's almost like it resonates when you first started your case, and maybe you're like, who's going to really help me, right? I mean, we all think what we're going through is the hardest thing ever, and you want an attorney that feels that emotion of what you're going to go to and help you do the right thing. Like, you're not a number, you're a person.
Absolutely. When I take on a client, first of all, you go through an interview process. Is this the kind of case that I want to take on, and this is the kind of person that I want to represent, whether it be an individual or a business. And once I'm committed to the case, my partners call me a pit bull. I sink my teeth into it and I don't let go. And that's...
So you want John Messina on your side.
Well,
you don't want to be on the opposing side.
we do try to get to the truth.
Right. I like that.
And do you deal still with a lot of real estate cases? If you do, in Southern California, especially the last several years, have had to be very active in that area.
Yes, I still deal with a lot of real estate cases, whether it be land use issues, contract disputes. I represent development companies, so they've been using one particular company as a regional center for employment-based immigration, so they're developing some very good projects, but a lot of land use issues, county contracts, and that type of thing. So it's we're doing a lot in that respect, and we still have the individual clients who have issues with simple things like easement issues or problems with again, probably more with county use or county restrictions.
And what other type of cases do you take that are not real estate related?
Business litigation and contract cases. We do. We have a number of business cases now, and these are business disputes, whether it be breaches of agreement, breaches of contract, distributorship agreements that have been breached. We have shareholder agreements that have been breached. So an ousted shareholder might come in and have to litigate against the remaining shareholders.
And you're not just in favor of litigation, but you also are a big advocate of prevention.
I am. In fact, I wrote an article dealing with the what ifs before having to deal with the what nows, and that it's something I think is really, really important. And the thing that makes, when people say, oh, well, gee, I want an incorporation, you can go to LegalZoom.com and get somebody to incorporate or you can get the paperwork and do it yourself for a couple $100. That's not what I do, and I never will do that. In fact, I've referred people to LegalZoom if that's all they want to do. What I do is the shareholder and the operation agreements and get into the nitty-gritty of what you're getting into if you're going to go into business with somebody or combine your business. A lot of times there's already an existing business. And for example, I had a case, a longtime client. He had an employee. They were working very, very well together, and we were having a great deal of successes. And they decided that they wanted to go into business together and have the employee was going to have an interest, a shareholder interest in the corporation. And they wanted me to hurry up and get those documents done. And I said, okay, well, let's just hold off for a second. Let's talk about a couple of things. And I posed certain questions. I made them do some homework. And this is what I always do. Go back, find out what happens if one of you isn't going to be able to participate into the company like you thought you would. Who's going to take the space? What happens if if you need to put some money, infuse the money, or infuse the corporation with some money? Are you willing to do that? And a lot of questions like that, what if questions, real world what if questions, things that happened every day, and things that I've had to litigate when there hasn't been proper communication.
And so I imagine just even asking those questions and thinking about them creates a different thought process for the participants.
Absolutely. In fact, most of the time, they decide not to go forward.
Not to go into business. And it's really, really valid points you bring up. And to hear more of John Messina's article, it's called Business Formation, Addressing the What Ifs. I'm so glad you wrote this. You wrote this years ago.
I did, yes.
And you can find this information. John Messina, we're talking with. He's counsel and partner with the firm Litton Williams, Messina, and Henkin. You can go directly to johnmessina.us. That's John Messina, MESSINA.us.
And you've also written a book called California Commercial Lease Option Purchase Agreements, Line by Line, a detailed look at California Commercial Lease Option Purchase Agreements and how to change them to meet your needs.
I think it's very specific there, what you were trying to do with that book.
It's very, very specific. I was asked to write a book by Aspiratory Books, who's a division of Thomson Reuters, and in this line-by-line series. And I thought, well, gosh, what would be interesting for a reader to have? And several cases that I'd litigated involved option agreements. When somebody exercised the option of a real estate transaction, it left it hanging. There was, okay, well, great, now I'm exercising the option. Yes, I want to buy. Right. Well, now what? And all of the purchase language was left off. All of the deal points that you'd find in the purchase side of the agreement, they weren't in that agreement. Mm-hmm. So we were buying my partners and I at the time were buying a Craftsman home, and we were doing it on a lease option, and I thought, well, this is the time. I'm going to actually formulate an agreement that actually covers all of this, something that I couldn't find with all of the other treatises and materials that we had. So I created this agreement, used it. It was terrific. I was really pleased with it, because it did address all of these issues that I thought needed to be addressed, and it's a form that I thought should be used in the industry.
Right. Well, kudos to you. You're a published author now, and your book is on Amazon. Thanks for being with us. In a sentence, what do you want to be known for, Mr. John Messina?
I want to be known. I guess I want to be known for that guy who's been able to change somebody's life, and luckily I've already had that opportunity. People have said, you know, if it wasn't for you, we don't know what we would have done. And I want to continue to be able to do that, whether it be businesses or individuals.
Well, thank you for sharing with us your business experience.
Thank you.
John Messina, counsel and partner with the firm Linton Williams, Messina & Henkin. You can find more information about him at johnmessina.us. I'm Lisa Caprelli. Thank you, Brian Gapps. You're listening to the Business Experience Show on Angels Radio AM 830 KLAA. We are getting down to business every Sunday with shows like Road to Wealth, Missed Fortune Radio, Hardline with Will Bruzo, and the Business Experience Show, right here every Sunday on Angels Radio AM 830 KLAA.